Hey guys, today's video we're going to talk about the EcoPower motor spray. So I love this stuff. I love motor spray because it's really good for cleaning carbon off of brushes and off the end-bell and whatnot. It's actually a really good way to get oil off of your end-bell as well, or off your brushes, just anywhere that gets dirty and over oiled. So I have this is kind of a bad car right here, something that didn't survive, but it actually did technically survive like a couple of years of running. We're gonna pull the end bell, and I just wanna look in here. Haven't seen inside of this thing for a while, but you can see how dirty that comm is. And I mean, this is just nasty, really, really nasty stuff. But this is a pretty extreme example, but we're gonna use the motor spray to clean it up and we'll see what happens. So I usually don't like to spray the whole car just because I don't like to spray the tires, and that's really the main thing. I don't like to spray the tires. The motor and stuff, I usually will separate that. It does have a straw on it, so we'll go ahead and use the straw, and I'm just going to kind of blast this. Usually I do this kind of over a trash can, but for this video purpose, I mean, you can see how nasty that is. Like, that's just dirty, nasty oil. Just carbon, everything. I mean, it's all coming out of there. So you could also use compressed air to dry this back off. If you have an air compressor or if you have keyboard cleaner. I'm just gonna blow on it. And one of the things I love about this stuff is I actually love the smell of it, you know? But now you can at least see, we can now see the bushing in there, the spacer. For the most part, everything is clean. You don't drop it, it's slippery too. But now it's at least clean and dry of all of the excess oil that has been in there for who knows how long. But you can also use it to spray off and clean your armatures. So this is getting pretty much as clean as it can get. This car it had the snot run out of it. I mean, it was really, really run a ton. But, you know, if you clean that stuff up, the comm's still going to show, like, it's still going to be dirty because of the wear. So it's still going to have, like, ugly wear marks on it. But something you can do with a drill or a Dremel, and this little battery-operated Dremel here, I keep it with a 16th collet so that I can put armatures in there. Be careful if you turn that on, because that thing just sprayed me. Like, it just literally sprayed all that out of there. But you do want to make sure that it gets dry before you reinstall it, because as a young kid, I actually sprayed this into one of my RC motors and I hit the throttle, and the sparks from the arcing from the brushes, it actually lit it on fire. And I mean, as a kid, I thought it was pretty dang cool. It went out right away, but don't do that. Be careful with it. But if you do get the armature out and you were wanting to reuse it, these little squares pretty much come in a lot of AFX track kits, but it's also just a fine sandpaper, like a 600 or an 800. And I usually just fold it over, and then you could just kind of go back and forth. And I would consider this polishing the comm. I wouldn't consider this anything more than that, but just a little testament to how well all of these products are balanced with each other. I mean, you can see this comm is not hourglassed. It has very little wear on it. And pretty much all of that wear was from the brushes. So when there's an imbalance, if you have too much brush tension, you actually will see the comm be nice and hourglass, which it's not nice at all, because then you have to true that. But yeah, even though this car was pretty much dead, we were able to bring it back to life, and this would actually work pretty dang good. I mean, there wouldn't really be any problems with this, and you can clean it up really, really well. If you wanted to take it a step further, and just for the guys that are rule conscious, polishing the comm like that, that doesn't violate any rules for anybody's rule sets. Now, if you were to take sandpaper and hit the stacks, that's where it starts getting a little bit more dicey. And there's really not a reason to doing that. If this was dyed, if it was like blue, or red or yellow, the motor spray might pull that dye off of there. So that's just something to be conscious of. But kind of a little speed secret here: if you get a yellow Sharpie, and depending on how dry this arm is, but you can get your yellow color back in there. I've had guys send cars back because they didn't have the yellow arm on them, and that's most likely because I cleaned everything off, rebuilt the car, sent it back to them, and they're like, "Hey man, you didn't send me the same armature." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's a freaking marker, bro. Like, come on." But I get it. Whatever. But yeah, so this stuff works great. It is plastic safe, so you don't have to worry about it on plastics. But like I said, I always at least pull the car like apart. On a brush barrel car like a Wizard Storm or a Patriot, where you have, let's see, I have one right here, where the brushes and all that stuff, usually you kind of want to leave your brush tubes in the car. You could just pull the screws and the springs out and just kind of spray the whole thing. It's not going to hurt anything. It's more to dry off, and an air compressor works great. I mean, we have one here at the shop, so usually when I'm doing this, I go back to the air compressor and blast the stuff off. But yeah, we just added this back to the website. I was so happy when EcoPower came out with this stuff, and we added it to the site. Had full intentions of making a video at that time, and then it sold out everywhere, and we weren't able to get it. So I didn't want to make a video telling you guys how awesome it was and then have you say, "Oh, we can't get it anywhere." So it is available now. We do have it on the site. It's a 10-ounce can, and you really don't need to use too much of it, but it works great for bringing those old cars back to life. It would work great on a T-Jet. Really, this is special electronics cleaner for radio control and slot cars. It's not the same as the electronics cleaner you could get from Walmart or whatever. So if you guys have any questions or anything like that, or if I wasn't clear on anything, make sure you put them in the comments, and we'll see you on the next one.